Hello my friends, welcome to Pro Strings. I'm Henriette and this is the Crickboom method lesson 8. Welcome to this class, and today we're going to continue with our Etude, and we're also going to carry on with our work that we've already started on building stamina and building awareness and muscle control. So have your violin ready, have your bow ready, rosined and tightened, and we're going to start with our bow exercises today. So let's find our nice bow hold, starting still with that ring that we started with some time ago now. Open up a little gap, find the correct place for your thumb. So I just want to emphasize again today that although this corner cries out for your thumb, it's not the correct corner if you have your thumb there. Your thumb should be on this little stretch, tiny little section of wood which is in between this rubber section and the heel, which is right here. So it's there where your thumb goes in, like that, and then my middle finger is opposite. Let's have your fingers nice and far over. I see this quite a lot, so if that's you, try to let your fingers go over the bow a little bit more. And then I've got a space here between my index finger and my middle finger, and also a finger width space between my ring finger and my little finger, and my little finger is round. And today I want you to really try and get that finger to go rounder. If that's you, see if you can soften it up a little bit, that little finger, and let it go nice and round on the edge of the bow that is nearest to you. So if you have a very good look at your bow again, most bows have got edges here rather than a round stick. And that is made specially for you so that you know where to place your little finger. So once you've got that, let's do our bow exercises. Let's do some waving, making your wrist really nice and soft, and all that time trying to keep your thumb bent underneath your bow. Great job. Lovely. Now let's do some windscreen wipers. And let's feel the shift in weight between your index finger when your bow is leaning onto it and your pinky is getting much stronger now, I think, and you might even feel the muscle here on the side of your hand engage when your bow tips over this way. So let's go that way again. Feel your index finger, and now let's see if you can feel your pinky bearing the weight of the bow now, because your bow is sort of pivoting, seesawing almost on your thumb. Can you see that? So tip it over towards your index finger, and you can feel how heavy the bow is. And now tip it over again and let it balance on your thumb, carrying the weight on your little finger and the muscle here on the side of your hand. One more time. Tip it over and feel that weight. Lovely. And I believe that when you keep at it, practicing this every day, you will become more aware of what's happening in your hand there. Now let's have the bow upright and let's crawl up and down. So we're going all the way up to the point. There we go. And then once you've reached the point, go back again towards the heel, step by step. Brilliant. Little step again. And you always want to take your time getting this step by step done, because that is the best way to train your fingers if you go slowly. There we go. And when you reach the heel of the bow, let's see if you can get your bow hold without the use of your other hand. So maybe, just maybe, you might be able to find that correct place for your thumb, bend your thumb, and then see if you can get this model really, really perfect today. Awesome, awesome. Okay, let's put the bow down now and let's do our violin exercises straight away. And today also I want to perfect your violin hold. So think about this button here, stick it into that little dent in your neck, and then slide it over your collarbone to the left. There we are. And now once you've got it nice and flat, so you remember we were talking, that's quite a while ago now, about this little ping pong ball. If you place it here on your strings, it should very gently roll this way. So if you have your violin slightly lower down, it won't roll towards you. That little ping pong ball will roll off that end, so lift it up a little bit. Then again, if your violin's a bit too high, it will hit you in the face, won't it? So drop this end of the violin a little bit more so that that ping pong ball is allowed to roll very slowly, okay? And then finally we're trying to tilt the violin just slightly on its side. If this is you, go back a little bit and see if you can get it almost flat. Just the G string, which is the string on your left, going a little bit up from the E string. All right, that looks very, very good. Now stick your thumb into the corner here, and we're going to bring our elbow under the violin and our fingers up and over. And with the pinky, we're going to pluck the G string 4 times, then ring finger for D 4 times, middle finger for A 4 times, index finger for E 4 times. Let's do this without stopping, shall we? And okay, swing your elbow. Lovely, and we'll do that again. Let's go to the G string. 1, 2, 3, 4. D string with your ring finger. A and E. Awesome. Now the reason why we are practicing this so often is that very shortly we're going to use our left hand fingers on the strings. So what we're doing is we're making our fingers a little bit more aware of where they should play from. We're making our forearm really nice and supple by swinging it, and we're also making our fingers nice and strong by plucking the strings like that. So all good things that you're developing all the time. So let's now pick up our bow and we're ready to play. And we're going to go straight in playing our Etude today. So this is Etude number 1, and you can find it on page 4 in your book. So we're going to go on to the A string, so your left hand can hold the violin here now. Let's get ready on the A string, and I'll count us in for 4. Now let's see if we can go all the way through this Etude from the beginning to the end. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the bow, 2, 3, 4. Set your bow onto the string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lift up. 2, 3, 4. Place your bow. 1, 2, rest, retake it again. Now place it first before you start to play. 1, 2, retake the bow last time. And now we're leaving the bow on the string. 1 lower half, rest, back to the heel, rest, lower half. 1, 2, 3, 4. Long bow now. 1, 2, retake the bow. 4. Set your bow on the string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Set your bow on the string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay at the lower half now. 1, 2, gorgeous. Now, that is not so easy to do. So if you've got halfway with that, bravo, really, really well done. If you've got one line of that, super, you're well on track. If you got all the way through and you finished on a down bow, absolutely outstanding work. But I would say that is very unusual when at this stage you can play such a long piece. So please don't worry if you didn't manage to go all the way through and play along with me today. There's lots of new stuff, first of all, and also this requires a lot of concentration and stamina, and we're building that all the time. So you're on track to try it again tomorrow and to succeed tomorrow, or maybe the day after, or maybe in a week's time, and that really doesn't matter. When we play the violin, we take things one step at a time, and we're enjoying the process, no matter what the result is. So I'm sure that when you look back later on, onto this week, you think, wow, did I get as far as 2 lines? That was absolutely awesome. And by that time, when you're a little bit further advanced, you can perhaps play 3 lines, or maybe even everything. So what I'm trying to say to you is, please don't despair if you find it very difficult to play along with me, because there are a lot of new concepts here and you're doing great. Now today I want to think a little bit more about what we have called casually down bow and up bow. Down bows and up bows indicate the direction of the travel of your bow. So down bow is going from the heel to the point in that direction, and you can imagine how that's called down bow because your hand is going down. I'll show this to you on the E string. That is a down bow. An up bow travels from the point to the heel, and you can see your bow goes up and your hand goes up. But down bows and up bows don't necessarily always start at the heel or at the point. I can also play a down bow in the middle and go to the point. Because we were saying a down bow tells you about the direction of the bow stroke. Okay, so this is also a down bow. Can you see? It doesn't necessarily have to be from here to there. And the same goes for an up bow. I can play an up bow and I can play it on the A string like this. That's all up bow. Even if I play from the point to the heel on the G string, that is still an up bow. although my bow doesn't go up so much, it goes more flat, doesn't it? But that's still called up bow because it travels from the point of the bow to the heel of the bow. So this is about the direction. That's an up bow. Now this is also an up bow. I'll play this on the D string for you. Middle to heel, because I'm going in that direction. This is also an up bow. You see? So up bows go that way, down bows go that way. Down bows, we have already come across the sign of the down bow. That is the little square shape which indicates the outline of the heel. And up bows are these little V-shape signs, and you can see them in line 3, and they indicate the outline of the point of the bow. So a little V. You can see an up bow sign in the 3rd line of your Etude in bar 2, and that is when you play up bow. So you've got a down bow sign and an up bow sign there. Sometimes these bowings in your music indicate where you are meant to retake the bow, and these exercises have been written by some very, very competent violinists, so it's always wise to follow what's printed in your music. And these down bows, if you see 2 down bows in a row, it indicates retake the bow. However, when you see a down bow followed by an up bow, it means leave your bow to rest on the strings. And that is our default mode. I would say most of the time violinists leave their bow on the string, in contact with the string, rather than a retake. But we're just happening to come across them right now, those retakes. So can we play line 3 again? So let's get ready on the A string, and I'll count us in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Long bow. 1, 2. Retake the bow. 4. Set the bow onto the string. 1. Just wait here for 1 count. 2, 3, 4. 1. Leave your bow on the string. 4. Long bow now. 1, 2. Lift up. 3, 4, and retake, because this next note is a down bow again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, slowly, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Really clever playing. So you see, when you retake the bow, there are 2 down bows in a row. When you don't retake the bow, you get a down bow sign followed by an up bow sign. And when you've got 1 count rest, you just leave your bow to wait on the strings. Now, let's have a look now at the 4th line of the Etude. And this starts at the heel of the bow. So we're getting ready right there. And we're going to play 4 short bows, and they go from the heel of the bow to the middle. Remember, you've still got a marker, hopefully, on your bow. So let's go from there. I'll count us in for 4. But before we get started, let's just get our stance in order. Let's just make sure that our right shoulder is nice and relaxed, and that you've got a good bow hold. Now, when we've got all of that sorted, we're ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. And if you've done it correctly, you should finish at the point of the bow with a straight bow. So if you found yourself playing here, which you might like to do the next time when you play, is to really aim to stretch that bow arm forward. Now let's play that last line once again, shall we? And this time we're really all going to work on pointing our bow arm forwards. So let's get ready on the A string here. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That went better and better all the time, didn't it? And you're getting quite a lot of knowledge about where on the bow you are playing, whether you play the whole bow at a normal pace, or whether you play the whole bow at a slower pace, or whether you play on the upper half or the lower half of the bow. So you are gradually beginning to integrate all these different techniques and all these different ideas about the bow. So be aware that, as you may have noticed already by now, violin playing is about multitasking. We're checking our bow hold, we're checking our stance, we're checking our violin hold, we're checking our straight bowing, we're checking that we're playing on one string at a time. There are simply too many things to think about all at once. So I'm super happy if you could think of one aspect of the technique that you're going to focus on each time you play something, and you pick a different one every time, and after a while all these techniques will integrate. So please don't worry if you're trying to bow straight and it's not coming. It will do, but it needs a little bit more time. So I'm super pleased that you're still with me after all that time and you're developing your playing day after day. So super well done. We're going to finish our lesson today with a different exercise that we have never done before. So let's put our violin up on our shoulder and hold it in your left hand like that. And now I'd like you to place the bow in the middle on the G string. And now I'd like you to think about your right elbow. When I'm on the G string, my right elbow is fairly high, because where I want to be is have a sort of parallel shape here. If you imagine the outline of your bow here and the outline of your upper arm, they should be more or less parallel. So if your elbow is like this, it isn't a parallel, can you see? So my upper arm is in parallel with the level of my bow. Can you see that? If your elbow is like this, it's also not parallel. So let's see if you can adjust your elbow level so that it's parallel, so that your upper arm is parallel with your bow. So again, look at this line here and look at the line of your upper arm. It's not too easy to see. You might go to a place, maybe in your bathroom, where you've got a large mirror to see if that is the case. Or you might ask somebody else to take a look. Is that really parallel? Now it's also not parallel if your shoulder is up, so drop your shoulder down. And now, focus on your right elbow and can you drop it down? Drop it slowly, slowly down. Can you see that my bow and my upper arm are now still parallel, but they're much more further down? So now let's slowly come up again with that elbow. And can you see, it brings my bow up. And now go down again. Very slowly so you can see what's happening. Okay, up again. Okay, and what we learn from that is that when I move the bow across the strings, it's my elbow that does that. So my arm and my hand follow my elbow. You can see I'm exaggerating it a little bit now, but I'm letting my elbow go first and my hand follows. Can you see that? And down in a similar motion. Look. I'm putting my elbow down and it takes my hand and my bow across. And that is something new that I might ask you to consider adding to your repertoire of techniques that you've already got, because this is a very useful one for when we play on more than one string. You may have noticed that so far we've played almost entirely on the A string, but very soon we're going to combine all the strings, and you do that with your elbow. So what we're doing is we're building up a whole repertoire of different violin techniques that we can pick and choose from when we play. So you've done great developing your technique today. Well done. Let me know in the comment section below this video how you're doing, and share this with our community, because lots of people are finding similar things as you, hopefully, and it's just nice to read about it. I very much look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Give yourself a pat on the shoulder because you've worked incredibly hard today. Goodbye.